Mr. Scala.
Hello.
Is your claim that the defendant, who was your roommate for a while, owes you for some things, rent?
Correct.
Back rent. So let me try to understand this. How long have you been living in your apartment?
I've been there since March 1995.
Is it a rent-controlled apartment?
It's rent-controlled SRO.
Rent-controlled SRO?
I think SRO is a type of apartment under rent control. I don't know what it stands for, but.
And in what state, thank you, in what state do you live?
California.
Are you allowed to have a roommate in your apartment? The answer is no, correct?
Your Honor,
Just a sec. I said, in the state of California, are you allowed to have a roommate in your apartment?
Of course I'm allowed to have a roommate.
And charge them rent? Well,
Yes.
I'm going to look that up. Are you telling me that you are permitted under rent control to have a strange person living with you and to split the rent with them?
I've had permission from the managers that I can have a roommate. I've had 6 roommates.
I don't care how many you've had. That's not my question.
Then
what I'm asking you is, under rent control, were you permitted by law to have a roommate?
I believe under 242 and 338, from what I remember, you are allowed to add a tenant into your apartment, and then they can charge 10% more rent.
Okay. Now, when the defendant came to live with you, did you notify them?
I told my manager that I
Did you?
Yes.
Show me.
What do you mean, show you the?
Show me official notification that you are adding a tenant and paying a 10% increase in rent.
I don't have any official notification.
Of course you
I
don't.
told him verbally.
And you did not pay a 10% increase.
I did
in
not
rent.
pay a 10% increase.
Correct.
I was not.
We're just setting the framework
No
here,
problem.
sir.
No problem, ma'am.
You're supposed to be living there by yourself. If I believe you, which is probably easy enough to check, the thing is, I don't know whether I want to get involved with somebody who's sort of stretching what the law is and then asking courts to help them. So the defendant was living with you. The management did not know that they were living with you. You did not pay an additional 10% rent. What was the rent on your apartment?
When he first moved in or now?
When he first moved in.
The rent in 2015 was $1,040.
And how large is your apartment?
I believe it's a little over 900 square feet.
How many bedrooms?
1 bedroom.
How many baths?
1 bath.
Where does he sleep?
In the bedroom.
And where do you sleep?
On the couch in the living room.
And what rent was he charging you?
$500 a month.
So when they found out, management, who you say that knew, but when they found out, they brought eviction proceedings against you. In what month did they bring eviction proceedings against you?
May 2017, but they did know I've had him as a roommate since practically when he moved in, as well as all my past roommates.
I'd like to see then, what was the basis for their eviction?
The basis for their eviction?
No, you have to show me.
Okay.
What was the basis for their eviction? They weren't evicting you for non-payment of rent. They had to be evicting you for something. What were they evicting you for?
They claimed that I had an unlicensed tenant there.
Right.
But there's a lot of background information.
Listen.
Okay.
Listen, I'm 75. I'm not interested in your background.
Okay, no. I appreciate it.
Yeah. They're evicting you for having an unlicensed tenant there. This will answer all my questions.
Can I say something, Your Honor?
About what?
During this whole time, the building, they were owned by at the time, it was for sale. This was all happening while they were trying to increase the value of the building to the new owner, which is going to be real estate.
Good for them! You've been having roommates unauthorized in violation of what you say the law is by paying increased rent since you've had roommates since 1995. And that's okay with you, but when a landlord wants to sell his building and increase the value of his apartment because you've been living there for 20 years and paying a rent-controlled rent, you somehow think that that's terrible. Why would you think it's terrible for them and not terrible for you?
I have no problem paying a 10% increase.
Just a second. Why would you think, well, you did have a problem because you didn't pay it. You didn't voluntarily pay it. You had a problem with it because you didn't voluntarily pay it. I just want to know, in my head, why you think it's wrong for one building owner to want to sell their building that you've lived in, which is a rent-controlled building, for a minimum rent, which that's what you claim, that it's a minimum rent, when you have had 8 roommates and haven't told them because you haven't gotten a 10% increase in the rent since you started living there, and you somehow think that that's okay, but it's not okay when someone in a commercial venture wants to get the most value for a property that they own.